Irish guy, and right, welcome back to the Prem catch-up. So let's see what happened in the second last Premier League game week of the season. Right, let's go. Man United 0, Arsenal 1. Yeah, lads. Right now, Arsenal are Tottenham fans. This must be the most conflicted and dirty few days of their life. After spending their entire lifetime bantering Spurs, hating them with a passion, now they are literally begging them to win. Lads, imagine thinking the last time the Gunners won the league, where they clinched the title at White Hart Lane and shamelessly celebrated on the pitch. Imagine thinking that the next time Arsenal go on to win this thing, they literally have to beg Tottenham for a favour. You'd think there'd be more chance of Will Smith somehow convincing Chris Rock to spend 4 hours cleaning his car. Lads, here we had Arsenal rocking up at Old Trafford, and I predicted this result months ago. 1-0 Arsenal win. The Gunners only ever win 1-0 at Manchester United. They don't know any other way of winning here. In 1998, 2002, 2006, 2020, and now 2024, Arsenal's last 5 wins at this ground, it's always 1-0. The most predictable scoreline, the most obvious outcome. Lads, can we truly appreciate what is happening here? For years, Arsenal were the banter club, the absolute joke of the Premier League, to such an extent where it made angry, frustrated bulldogs famous. Imagine being told back in 2011, when Arsenal lost 8-2 at Old Trafford, that one day they would be comfortably winning at Old Trafford to take the title race until the final day. Oh yeah, and by the way, being managed by that £10 million Everton midfielder who they were signing that month. I'm gonna say it. At the time when that deal went through, I thought, meh? Arteta was 29 years of age, replacing Cesc Fabregas with this mid-table muffin. Even Man City had signed the likes of David Silva the previous year, so getting an uncapped Arteta now looked about as appetizing as eating a potato covered in baby vomit. But no, I'm gonna say this. That was the most important signing that Arsene Wenger made in his final 19 years as Arsenal boss. It is one of the most critical signings in the history of the club, because if Arteta did not have that Arsenal link, if he had never been their captain, I don't think he would have ever been Gunners' boss in 2019. I mean, Man City were also after Arteta in 2010, with Roberto Mancini keen to tie up a deal, only to choose James Milner instead. When Arteta got the Arsenal manager's job, it was in an era where Frank Lampard was Chelsea boss and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was at Manchester United. It was briefly fashionable to have ex-players in the job. I think Zidane at Real Madrid made it cool. If Arteta did not have that Gunners link, he'd probably be Everton boss right now, and slowly disintegrating into madness, trapped at a crazy club with no money. Honestly, he'd probably lock himself in the basement every night just to take his frustration out by munching on mice. The job Arteta has done at Arsenal is outstanding, and this is such a controlled performance. This result was never in doubt. Although for Manchester United, this might just be the worst centre-half pairing I have ever seen at Old Trafford. Look, Casemiro and Johnny Evans are players who deserve respect. Between them, they have 6 Champions League medals, 3 La Ligas, and 3 Premier Leagues, and 4 FIFA Club World Cup medals between them too. You are not finding a more decorated centre-back partnership in the Premier League than that. If these two chucked all their medals onto the kitchen table, you'd need another table. Between them, they've got 181 international caps for Brazil and Northern Ireland. Between them, they've got well over 1,000 appearances in club football. So I'm not going to sit here and stupidly call them a couple of spineless bunches of toilet paper. That they're both as incompetent as those annoying minions of those Despicable Me films. They both deserve respect, but they've also got the combined age of nearly 70. Evans nearly retired from football last summer. Casemiro is not a centre half. Here he was, due to sheer laziness, failing to get up the pitch. He kept Kai Havertz onside, who then set up Trossard for the winning goal. Casemiro, this defeat is on you. This guy was a world-class monster in his peak. Even last season he was great, but now Erik ten Hag chucking him out on the pitches as a centre-back again after he was already cooked like a chicken burger at Sellers Park. Why? Do you really trust Willy Kambwala that little? Have you now decided that this 19-year-old centre-back is a worse option than another position past a potato? His confidence must now be drowned in a pint of milk. Look, for Arsenal, this is a weird week. Praying for Tottenham to do you a favour. Wanting Spurs to win is going to be about as natural for you is secretly wanting a Japanese grandma to bite off your fingers while you sleep. But for Manchester United, you're 8th in the league. You have never finished by Newcastle United in Premier League history. But now, even if you do beat them at Old Trafford this week, do you really think the Magpies aren't going to win at Brentford on the final day? For the first time in Premier League history, Newcastle are going to finish above Manchester United. Oh wow! Tottenham 2, Burnley 1. So, Burnley have been relegated, and they have nobody to blame but themselves. Look, we all know that Vince Company is going to stick around to help them in the championship next season. But this isn't like when Sean Dyche stayed with the sinking ship in 2015. Because yes, his Burnley team that were relegated that year were poor, but they at least gave it a go. They were pragmatic, defensively organised, yes. I know, 19th looks awful on paper, but they only conceded 53 goals. This Burnley team have led in nearly 80. Christ, well, from February until May 2015. Burnley conceded just 10 goals in 13 games. They had 5 0-0 draws that season and 5 1-0 wins. That's 10 clean sheets. One of those wins came against Man City. Yes, that team got relegated, but they were competitive. They only lost a game by more than 2 goals twice all season. A 3-0 defeat at Arsenal, and weirdly, a 4-0 loss at West Brom. But that is it. They were in every match. You could tell Dyche was onto something. But this Burnley side, they've been eaten alive like barbecue shrimp. They have been at the mercy of every Premier League attack. Company has essentially thrown a bin bag full of cake onto Jonah Hill's porch. You just know it's going to be devoured within minutes. These poor, ill-equipped, bang-average Burnley players are lambs to the slaughter. And Company has just been sitting back with a cigar in his mouth all season long. Change something, Vincent. You are an intelligent man. His stubbornness to try and play Barcelona football when he is horribly dreadful footballers with the technique of half-eaten bubble gum. I applaud the man's initiative, but it's about as naive as anyone who thinks Jake Paul is going to lose to somebody's granddad who's probably pooed the bed at least twice this year. This was a fitting place for Burnley to go down because it was a battle of the two most stubborn managers in the league, both men who passed through Manchester City's massive empire and who are so desperate to play pep ball and just will not change ever. I'm telling you lads, if Ange Postecoglou had been Burnley boss, oh, they'd have been relegated too, with his ball-playing defenders once again being more exposed than somebody's grandpa trying to outrun Jeremy Frimpong for the last chicken Keisha Nasda. Look, Company is a talented manager, and given better players, I think he would also be doing a good job at Tottenham. But Burnley, I thought you would have a spectacular season, but no. I underestimated just how bad your players are. Unless they have a huge influx of cash in the summer, I don't think Company will ever be a true success at Turf Moor. I think he is wasting his time. Someone like Dyche would make this rubbish bunch competitive. But when you're trying to copy peak Barcelona with the likes of Jack Corsh, Josh Brownhill, and Dara O'Shea, it's like trying to win a basketball match with a bunch of Oompa Loompas. West Ham 3, Luton 1. Yep. Luton are down 2. This is depressing. This is sad. All 3 relegated clubs have gone straight back down without so much as a whimper. Okay, I know Luton aren't mathematically dead in the water, but do you know what they would need to happen on the final day? In order to stay up, they would need Burnley to beat Forest 6-0, while they would need to beat Fulham 6-0. There's miracles. And then there's that. Not even Cinderella's godmother will be able to grant that wish. And she turned a pumpkin into an Uber. There's probably more chance of your house being ransacked by a zombie dinosaur within minutes of watching this video. To be fair, beating Fulham 6-0 on the final day in a relegation battle, that reminds me of May 2005 when Norwich City needed to beat Fulham to stay up, and yet they lost 6-0. Those poor Norwich fans must be so traumatized. Even Delia Smith herself probably contemplated whether or not to slip cyanide into her evening chocolate muffins before bed. That must be such an ugly way to go down. But this is a shame because lads, Burnley versus Forest, Luton versus Fulham. This could have been an epic final day, but they couldn't even give us that. Lads, Luton could have been one of the greatest ever Premier League fairy tales, but considering they have not even pushed this relegation battle out until the final day, is anybody really gonna remember them? No. Blackpool in 2011. They put 13 more points on the board, and did they push it until the final day? Yes, they were 2-1 up at Old Trafford on the final day. That was a team that I will always remember. But this limp Luton side that ran out of steam after Valentine's Day, oh Christ, they've been so bad since February. Why have they lost 11 over the last 14 league matches? It's just weak. Feeble. And I don't know, but I think any team was able to stick 8 goals past Brighton and Newcastle inside 4 days should have enough firepower to stay up, or at least stay alive until the final day. Nottingham Forest 2, Chelsea 3. Chelsea are class. For all of you Pochettino doubters, I hope you're now embarrassed. As I speak these words, I hope you're now weeping into a bowl of scrambled egg, because this man is producing a beautiful Chelsea side. Yes, that final defeat to Arsenal was treated like a historic stain on the club. Some Chelsea fans looked like they wanted to rip out Pochettino's tongue as a punishment and use it as a bookmark for their latest copy of King Lear. But lads, that is now still their only defeat in their last 13 league games. They've scored bucket loads of goals in that time. Lads, Pochettino is a man who has teams who score lots of goals. Don't forget just how good peak Tottenham were. Remember the last time Chelsea won this league? Don't forget, Tottenham won 12 of their final 13 league games. I mean, they finished the season with 6-1 and 7-1 wins at Leicester and Hull. When Pochettino ball is in full flow, it is absolutely devastating. What Chelsea need is a centre forward. Go out there and get either Ivan Toney from Brentford or or bring back Chelsea old boy Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth. I know, I can't believe I'm saying that. I remember when I thought he was a stinking Cherries flop. Just 3 goals in his first 45 Premier League games for the Cherries. I thought he was your classic case of Brian Brewster, an underage goal machine who was about as threatening as vegan birthday cake in the top flight. Well, clearly he's been eating his Weetabix this season. I mean, maybe instead of sprinkling sugar on the top, he's chucking on whatever secret ingredient Lance Armstrong used to have on his toast, because from nowhere, he's now on 19 goals. But lads, bring him back to Chelsea in the summer, and he could be Pochettino's Harry Kane. Another takeaway from this game is, what on earth is Callum Hudson-Odoi doing in a relegation scrap? This 23-year-old wing wizard is too good for Forest. I'm sorry, but he is. Here he is scoring what should have been the winner against his old club. But I'm sorry, in the second half of the season, he has been unplayable. And the fact that this magical left winger was bought by Forest for just £3 million, that was poisonous from Todd Bowley. Hudson-Odoi is someone who's been a Chelsea player since 2007. That club was his whole life. They believed in him so much that they even denied him a dream move to Bayern Munich 5 years ago. And yet after all that, they finally just throw him out the Forest for a couch change down the back of Marinakis' couch. When both players are on form, Hudson-Odoi is not a million miles off Jadon Sancho's level. And yet Sancho was sold by Dortmund for nearly 80 mil. Hudson-Odoi's first permanent transfer in his career has been thrown out for football's answer to magic beans. I think Hudson-Odoi is top class and should be getting a move to a European club this summer, like a Newcastle or a Spurs. Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 3. Michael Olise and Ebraki Eze should not be separated. Some footballers just come as a duo, like Robin and Ribery were the Ant and Dec of Bavaria. Similarly, I don't want to see Eze and Olise get split up and chucked out to new foster homes next season. It would be like 2 twins in an orphanage, getting adopted by different weirdos on either side of the globe. Eze and Olise, once again, just absolutely ate a Premier League midfield and defense for breakfast. Both absolute street ballers. Eze and Olise, both eloquent, elegant, beautiful footballers. Eze is like a mini Kaka, and Olise is a mini Ronaldinho. 2 London street ballers who develop their skills in a cage. Please don't split them up in the summer. If they are both leaving Crystal Palace, they should go together. In the same way, it was kind of mean to break up the Paqueta-Bruno bromance whilst at Leon. Newcastle should arguably have tried to sign both, bring in the 2 Brazilian best friends to St. James's Park, whilst Olise and Eze, either both of them get that move to Man United, or just leave them where they are. Bournemouth 1, Brentford 2. This result makes me angry. Oh, so angry. Lads, I am desperate for Bournemouth to finish in the top half. Having Anthony Iraola, somebody who everybody was tipping for an early sack in September, having him finishing up with Roberto De Zerbi, the media darling linked with Bayern Munich, it would be delicious. Although, to be fair, those Bayern links don't look so special now, Bobby. Have you seen the other candidates? The German Giants have already been rejected by Xabi Alonso, sure, but also Ralph Rangnick, that former moldy Man United interim nerd. And they've also been eyeing up Eric Ten Hag, who just lost 4-0 at Crystal Palace. Oh, and by the way, they've been also looking at Oliver Glasner this week. He's already said no. A football manager in Crystal Palace over Bayern Munich. Oh, wow, that's got to be a punch to the ego. And so now they're just getting Hansi Flick to come back. You know, that warm babysitter they used to have? Well, listen, I want Bournemouth to finish in the top half, but it looks like they've just thrown all of that away by stupidly losing at home in the final minute to the Bees. Everton 1, Sheffield United 0. Sean Dyche, take a bow. Look, I'm not going to gas up Everton for beating Sheffield United. But I suppose that was the 101st goal the Blades have conceded in the league this season. Wow, that's embarrassing. No, what's incredible is that the Toffees, after failing to win a match for nearly 4 months, they then polished themselves down to win 5 home games in a row without conceding a single goal. Wow. Yes, that 6-0 loss to Chelsea was bad, but in the same way Chelsea's 5-0 loss to Arsenal was an outlier, so was that for Everton. Lads, imagine being told that season Everton would win 4 games in a row without conceding a goal in December, and would then finish the season with 15 points and 5 clean sheets from the final 5 home matches, including a win over Liverpool. If there was no points deductions, Everton will still be in contention to finish in the top half. They would be 11th in the league. To put it in context, Carlo Ancelotti, somebody who's going to win the 7th Champions League title of his entire career this month, the best he could bounce at Everton was 10th. And even he had a former Galactico like James Rodriguez in his team. Honestly, Dyche, take a bow. Fulham 0, Man City 4. Everyone said that Fulham was going to be a banana skin for Man City. They laughed at that. 4-0. And Josko Vardio was actually offered the chance to score a hat-trick. But fair play, he was professional enough to say no. And yeah, 4-0 win. Easy. And now Arsenal are thinking, come on, you Spurs! Newcastle 1, Brighton 1. Just a dead, sleepy, end-of-season match devoid of any real excitement or hunger to win. Just very, very flat. Anyway, that's the review. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think of the game week? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to get extra answers. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.